Hello, friends. Welcome back to our channel. The thyroid is a small butterfly-shaped gland in the neck that plays a big role in the body. It produces hormones that regulate metabolism, heart rate, and body temperature. For millions of people with hypothyroidism, this gland doesn't produce enough hormones, leading to various health issues. What many don't realize is that diet can significantly impact thyroid function. Certain foods can interfere with hormone production or the effectiveness of thyroid medications. Today, we'll explore 15 foods people with underactive thyroids should know about. Understanding these food-thyroid interactions can help you make better dietary choices and manage your condition more effectively. Let's look at what's on your plate and how it might affect your thyroid health. 1. Soy milk. Soy milk and other unfermented soy products contain compounds called isoflavones. These compounds can act like a weak estrogen in the body. For people with hypothyroidism, this might be a problem. Estrogen-like substances can interfere with how the body uses thyroid hormones. This doesn't mean everyone with thyroid issues needs to avoid soy completely. The effect depends on how much soy you eat and your overall health. Studies have shown that soy can lower the absorption of thyroid medication. If you take thyroid hormone pills, it's best not to consume soy products within a few hours of taking your medicine. Some research suggests that soy might increase the risk of developing thyroid problems in people who are already at risk. However, moderate amounts of soy in their diet don't cause issues for many people. Cooking soy products doesn't remove the compounds that affect thyroid function. If you enjoy soy foods, talk to your doctor about how much is safe for you to eat. They might suggest limiting your intake or avoiding soy altogether, depending on your specific situation. 2. Peaches. Peaches, known for their sweet taste, contain compounds that can affect thyroid function. These fruits have small amounts of cyanogenic glucosides, similar to cassava, but in much lower concentrations. When eaten, these compounds can release cyanide in the body. The thyroid gland is sensitive to cyanide, which can interfere with iodine uptake. This interference may slow down thyroid hormone production. However, the effect of peaches on thyroid function is much milder compared to other foods like cassava. For most people with hypothyroidism, eating peaches in normal amounts is unlikely to cause problems. The body can handle small amounts of these compounds. It's the excessive consumption that might be a concern. If you love peaches and have thyroid issues, there's usually no need to avoid them completely. Just eat them as part of a varied diet. 3. Strawberries. Strawberries are often considered a healthy snack, but people with thyroid issues deserve a closer look. These berries contain natural compounds that can interfere with iodine absorption in the body. Iodine is a key ingredient for making thyroid hormones. Research has shown that certain enzymes in strawberries can affect how the thyroid gland processes iodine. This doesn't mean strawberries are harmful to everyone with thyroid problems. The effect is usually small and depends on how many strawberries you eat. For most people with hypothyroidism, eating strawberries in normal amounts is fine. The benefits of their vitamins and antioxidants often outweigh any small impact on thyroid function. However, eating large amounts of strawberries regularly might be worth mentioning to your doctor. They can help you decide whether to adjust your diet or thyroid medication. Remember, balance is key in managing thyroid health. 4. Peanuts. Peanuts, despite being called nuts, are actually legumes. They contain compounds that can influence thyroid function. Peanuts are a source of goitrogens, substances that can interfere with iodine uptake in the thyroid gland. The goitrogenic effect of peanuts is generally mild compared to other foods. However, for people with iodine deficiency or existing thyroid problems, eating large amounts of peanuts might affect thyroid hormone production. Peanuts also contain high levels of a mineral called manganese. Some studies suggest that too much manganese might interfere with thyroid hormone levels. It's important to note that moderate peanut consumption is usually not a problem for most people with hypothyroidism. Peanuts have many health benefits, including protein and healthy fats. If you enjoy peanuts or peanut butter, there's typically no need to avoid them completely. Instead, focus on eating a varied and healthy diet. 5. Pine nuts. Pine nuts, the edible seeds of pine trees, have an interesting relationship with thyroid health. These small, flavorful nuts contain an amino acid called L-tyrosine. Tyrosine is one of the building blocks the body uses to make thyroid hormones. Eating pine nuts in normal amounts is not a problem for most people. They're nutritious and can be part of a healthy diet. However, if you have thyroid issues and eat large amounts of pine nuts regularly, it might be worth mentioning to your doctor. They can help you understand whether pine nut consumption affects your thyroid function or medication effectiveness. 6. Flax seeds. Flax seeds are often praised for their health benefits, but they require special attention for people with thyroid issues. These small seeds are rich in compounds called lignans, which have weak estrogen-like effects in the body. This property can potentially interfere with thyroid hormone function. Research suggests that consuming large amounts of flax seeds might affect how thyroid hormones work in the body. The lignans in flax seeds can bind to thyroid hormone receptors, potentially reducing the effectiveness of these hormones. This effect is usually mild, and mainly a concern if you regularly eat large quantities of flax seeds. Flax seeds also contain goitrogens, substances that can interfere with iodine uptake in the thyroid gland. However, the goitrogenic effect of flax seeds is generally weaker compared to other foods like cruciferous vegetables. Eating moderate amounts of flax seeds is safe for most people with hypothyroidism and can provide health benefits. 7. Pearl millet. Pearl millet is a small, round grain that's popular in many parts of the world. It contains substances called flavonoids that can interfere with how the thyroid gland works. These flavonoids can stop the thyroid from using iodine properly. Iodine is a key ingredient the body needs to make thyroid hormones. Research has shown that eating large amounts of pearl millet can lead to goiter, which is when the thyroid gland gets bigger. This is especially true in areas where people don't get enough iodine in their diet. Some studies have found that replacing pearl millet with other grains can help improve thyroid function in people with goiter. 8. Cassava. Cassava, also known as yucca, is a root vegetable eaten by millions worldwide. It's full of calories and carbohydrates but has some properties that can affect thyroid health. Cassava contains compounds called cyanogenic glucosides. When eaten, these compounds can be converted into cyanide in the body. The thyroid gland is particularly sensitive to cyanide exposure. Cyanide can interfere with iodine uptake, which is essential for making thyroid hormones. In areas where cassava is a staple food and iodine intake is low, researchers have noticed higher rates of goiter and hypothyroidism. Proper preparation of cassava is key to reducing its potential harm. Peeling, soaking, and cooking cassava thoroughly can help break down the harmful compounds. If you eat cassava and have thyroid issues, it's important to ensure you're getting enough iodine in your diet and to discuss your cassava intake with your healthcare provider. 9. Raw cruciferous vegetables. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, kale, and cauliflower are often praised for their health benefits. However, when eaten raw, they can pose challenges for people with thyroid issues. These vegetables contain compounds called glucosinolates. When chewed or chopped, these compounds are converted into goitrogens. Goitrogens can interfere with the thyroid's ability to absorb iodine, slowing down the production of thyroid hormones. The effect is stronger when these vegetables are eaten raw. Cooking helps break down the goitrogens, making them less problematic. It's important to note that you don't need to avoid cruciferous vegetables completely if you have hypothyroidism. They have many health benefits. The key is moderation and proper preparation. Lightly steaming or cooking these vegetables can reduce their goitrogenic effects while preserving their nutritional value. 10. Lima beans. Lima beans, while nutritious, contain compounds that can affect thyroid function. These beans contain substances called linamarin, a form of cyanogenic glycoside. When consumed, linamarin can be broken down in the body to release small amounts of cyanide. Cyanide, even in small amounts, can interfere with the thyroid's ability to absorb iodine. This could slow down the production of thyroid hormones. The effect is more pronounced when lima beans are eaten raw or undercooked. Proper cooking is essential to reduce the linamarin content in lima beans. Boiling them thoroughly and discarding the cooking water can help minimize potential thyroid effects. For people with hypothyroidism, it's wise to eat lima beans in moderation and always ensure they are well cooked. 11. Excessive iodine-rich foods. Iodine is essential for making thyroid hormones, but too much can be as problematic as too little. Some foods, like certain seaweeds, especially kelp, are very high in iodine. Eating these in large amounts can overload the thyroid gland. When the body gets too much iodine, it can actually slow down thyroid hormone production. This is called the Wolff-Chaikoff effect. For most people, this effect is temporary. But for some, especially those with existing thyroid problems, it can lead to or worsen hypothyroidism. It's rare to get too much iodine from regular foods. The concern is mainly with seaweed supplements or eating large amounts of seaweed regularly. If you enjoy seaweed or other iodine-rich foods, it's usually fine in moderation. But if you're thinking about taking iodine supplements or eating seaweed daily, talk to your doctor first. 12. Pearl barley. Pearl barley, a common ingredient in soups and stews, has some properties that can affect thyroid function. This grain contains high levels of dietary fiber, which is generally good for health. However, the type of fiber in pearl barley can be a concern for people with thyroid issues. The fiber in pearl barley can interfere with the absorption of thyroid hormone medication. This means if you eat pearl barley close to the time you take your thyroid medicine, you might not get the full benefit of the medication. Studies have shown that high-fiber foods like pearl barley can reduce the effectiveness of levothyroxine, a common thyroid hormone replacement. This doesn't mean you need to avoid pearl barley entirely. The key is timing. Eat pearl barley at least a few hours before or after taking your thyroid medication. If you enjoy pearl barley regularly, mention this to your doctor. 13. Processed foods high in sodium. Processed foods that are high in sodium can pose challenges for people with thyroid issues, particularly hypothyroidism. While sodium itself doesn't directly affect thyroid function, high sodium intake can impact overall health in ways that make managing thyroid conditions more difficult. Excessive sodium can lead to fluid retention, which is already a common problem for people with hypothyroidism. This can make symptoms like swelling and puffiness worse. High sodium intake is also linked to high blood pressure, which can be more challenging to control when you have thyroid problems. Some processed foods contain iodized salt, which might benefit thyroid health. However, the amount and quality of iodine in these foods can be inconsistent. It's better to get iodine from natural food sources or as recommended by your doctor. When shopping, look for low-sodium options and focus on whole, unprocessed foods. This can help manage your sodium intake and support overall thyroid health. 14. Certain fatty acids in foods like corn oil. Certain oils, particularly corn oil, contain fatty acids that can subtly affect thyroid function. Corn oil is high in omega-6 fatty acids, which are essential for health. An imbalance between omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids can impact thyroid health. Research suggests that a diet too high in omega-6 fatty acids might interfere with the body's ability to use thyroid hormones effectively. This doesn't mean these fats are bad, but balance is key. The modern diet often contains much more omega-6 than omega-3, contributing to inflammation and potentially affecting thyroid function. For people with hypothyroidism, it might be helpful to reduce intake of oils high in omega-6, like corn oil, and increase sources of omega-3, such as fish oil or flaxseed oil. However, remember that all fats play important roles in the body. The goal is balance, not complete avoidance. 15. Caffeinated beverages in excess. When consumed in large amounts, caffeine-containing drinks like coffee, tea, and some sodas can affect thyroid health. Although caffeine itself doesn't harm the thyroid gland, it can interfere with the absorption of thyroid hormone replacement medications. Studies have shown that drinking coffee within an hour of taking thyroid hormone pills can reduce the absorption of the medication. This means you might not get the full dose your doctor prescribed. The effect isn't limited to coffee. Other caffeinated drinks can have similar impacts. Caffeine can also increase the body's stress response, leading to higher cortisol levels. For people with thyroid issues who might already have imbalanced stress hormones, this extra cortisol can make symptoms worse. However, moderate caffeine intake is usually fine for most people with hypothyroidism. The key is timing. Try to wait at least an hour after taking thyroid medication before having caffeinated drinks. If you drink a lot of caffeine throughout the day, discuss this with your doctor to ensure it's not affecting your thyroid management. Thanks for watching. If you found this information helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more health tips. Have you ever noticed any foods affecting your thyroid? Share your experiences in the comments below. And remember, everyone's body is different, so always talk to your doctor about the best diet for your thyroid health. Stay healthy, and we'll see you in the next video.